Hi everybody, Mr. C here. How are you today? Got a book down here which I want to read to you today called Mr. Betts and Mr. Potts. It's a fun book, alright? Mr. Betts, who had lots of pets, went in a panic to the vet's. The vet, whose name was Mr. Potts, listened and said, "You've got lots and lots and lots of pets. What's wrong with them, Mr. Betts?" Poor Betts sighed and turned to Potts and said, "My pets have all got spots. A spotted fish, a spotted cat, a spotted snake, a spotty rat, a spotted rabbit, a spotty frog, a spotted canary, and a spotted dog." Dear me," wailed Mr. Potts, and searched through his book till he came to spots. "Now Strawberry suffer from botteritis. It seems your pets have got spottyritis." "Spottyritis? Is it bad?" Mr. Potts was feeling sad. "Nothing that I can't cure," although Potts really wasn't sure. He thought of pills or perhaps a lotion, but decided on a special potion. He made it up behind a screen and returned with a medicine that was bright green. "Give them this 3 times a day. That should take the spots away." So Mr. Betts, feeling quite assured, was convinced his pets would soon be cured. He followed the instructions to the letter and wished and hoped his pets would get better. The spots went at once, which was a surprise. But Mr. Betts couldn't believe his eyes. He looked at his pets and shouted, "Cripes!" No more spots, they were covered in stripes. Off at once back to the vet's ran an angry Mr. Betts. "Stripes?" said an astonished Mr. Potts. "You mean they've got stripes instead of spots?" "That's what I said," said Mr. Betts. "Now I'm the owner of stripy pets. A stripy fish, a stripy cat, a stripy snake, a stripy rat, a stripy rabbit, a stripy frog, a stripy canary, a stripy dog." Oh, it was obvious something had gone wrong. Perhaps the green stuff was much too strong. "Ha!" said Potts, knowing what to do. "Green's no good. Give them this. It's blue." With the blue stuff he got, Betts went away. But you'll never guess what. He was back next day. "Good morning," said Potts. "Did that do the trick? Tell me your pets are no longer sick." "Well," began Betts, as he faced Mr. Potts, "the green stuff you gave me got rid of the spots, but as you know they got stripes instead. So I gave them the blue stuff just like you said. The stripes went away, but it's worse than I feared. Now each of my pets has grown a beard. A bearded fish, a bearded cat, a bearded snake, a bearded rat, a bearded rabbit, a bearded frog, a bearded canary, and a bearded dog." "Ha! That's easy to cure, my good fellow. Give them this instead. As you see, it's yellow." So, once again, Betts went away. And once again, he was back next day. "The green stuff you gave me," he said to Potts, "was quite successful. It got rid of the spots. But as you know, they got stripes instead. So I gave them the blue stuff like you said. Then, as I explained, the stripes disappeared, but left each of my pets with a great long beard. So I gave them the yellow stuff, and by, the beards went away, but they began to cry. A crying fish, a crying cat, a sobbing snake, a sobbing rat, a wailing rabbit, a wailing frog, a bawling canary, a bawling dog." "My goodness me!" Mr. Potts was worried. Again behind the screen he hurried. There he thought and scratched his head and decided on a medicine that was red. Poor Mr. Betts, he gave a sigh. Anything, he thought, was worth a try. Taking the medicine, he ran from the vet, but back The next day came Mr. Betts. Mr. Potts was getting vexed and worrying what would happen next. Mr. Betts looked a sorry sight, as if he had been up all night. Did it work, Mr. Betts? The vets inquired. Did it have the results that you desired? Well, the green stuff you gave me, Mr. Potts, worked a treat, no more spots. But as you know, they got stripes instead. So I gave them the blue stuff like you said. No more stripes, but rather weird. All my pets grew a long beard. So I gave them the yellow stuff, and all my pets began to cry. Next, the red stuff, and it was no surprise, they stopped crying at once. But they shrunk in size. A very small fish, a very small cat, a little snake, a little rat, a minute rabbit, a minute frog, a tiny canary, a tiny dog. Then we've won, said Potts. I think we can start from scratch where we began. Your pets are precious. I know you need them. Now all you have to do is feed them. A whole week passed, and then at last, hurrying, scurrying into the vet's, came a delighted Mr. Betts. Gone was the look that was always sad. Gone was his coat that was always drab. Instead, he was dressed in a suit, quite formal, proud to announce that his pets were normal. Happy now, he walks the streets and tells each passer-by that he meets. I've got a normal fish, a normal cat, a normal snake, a normal rat, a normal rabbit, a normal frog, a normal canary, a normal dog. Wow, that was some adventure, wasn't it? Goodness gracious me, Mr. Pet